What's going on, everyone? This is Data Report for datareport.info. In this video, we are going to talk about staffing shortages. It seems as if every sector is really suffering with a staffing issue ever since the start of the pandemic. And it's not just in the United States, it's happening all around the world. And I don't think people understand how serious this is. You look at the unemployment rate right here, it's 3.5%. You're thinking, wow, that's low, people are unemployed. And it's good, people have jobs, people are employed. Nope. That doesn't tell you the whole picture. Let's start off with the education sector. Sheldon Elementary School teachers combat staffing shortage with emergency licenses. According to the U.S. Department of Education, teacher shortages have been reported across the United States and in Vermont. The National Center for Education Statistics says nearly half of the country's public schools have at least one teaching vacancy. Well, that's not good. How about swim lessons? Care to take some swim lessons? Well, I got bad news for you. This is out on the West Coast. After pandemic closures and staff shortages, swim lessons are back in Juna. I hope I'm saying that correctly. If you live there, apologies. But swim lessons are back in full swing there. However, she said a shortage of lifeguards has led to a shortage of swim instructors. And this is not just an issue there. I live here in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. I tweeted something about it the other day. And we have a shortage here in Philly. It's been going on since the pandemic started. And some pools have not been able to open in our city as a result. Continuing on here. How about Canada? Oh yes, it's happening in Canada as well. A shortage of pilots is making travel chaos. In Canada, even worse. Canada's two biggest airlines dominate hiring, leaving fewer pilots for everyone else. Well, that's not good. If you don't have enough pilots, there's less flights, and that causes a backlog of people that want to travel, and it's just an utter mess. Look at this. According to Transport Canada, in a typical pre-pandemic year, roughly 1,100 pilot licenses were issued. When complemented by foreign-trained pilots, that was generally more than enough to satisfy the needs of carriers as large as WestJet and Air Canada, all the way down to regional charters. But as demand for flying collapsed in 2020, so did the number of new pilots getting their paperwork. Government data shows less than 500 licenses were awarded in 2020, a figure that fell to less than 300 in 2021 and just 238 last year. Whoa, that's a problem. And take a look at this. You can see here, number of new pilots has plunged since COVID. Look at it. Pre-pandemic, 1,100. 470. As you can see here, it's just really dropping. All right, moving on. There's a whole bunch of these. Not sustainable. Jails struggle with worker shortage. Well, we know there's no shortage of criminals out there, but now you have a shortage of people working in the jails. That's not good because you need prison guards to watch over the prisoners. You need people to cook the food and so on. I mean, it goes on. Probation officers. You name it. Well, now you have a shortage of them with no shortage of influx of prisoners. That's a big problem. How about this here? Haven House staff shortage limits families to hotels for now. East Lansing, Michigan. Haven House in East Lansing typically provides on-site shelter services and offers other places for families to stay like hotels. But a lack of workers is forcing the organization to only place families off-site. Yikes. And here's one encounter. I was contacted by a couple of families that are staying with Haven House, and they said they are staying in hotels. President and founder of the Cardboard Profits, Mike Carl, said. While Carl works to battle homeless in the area, he said he wants to help. Can we come up with some kind of compromise to get these families that are on the street into the empty beds? And I am more than willing to help myself, he said. So even this guy who is the in charge of a non-profit organization, I assume, he wants to help. That's how short they are of staff. Not good. All right, moving on. Gresham Hospital set to close birth center due to financial losses and staff shortage. Legacy Health has announced plans to close its family birth center at the Legacy Mount Hood Medical Center in Gresham, citing a shortage of workers and financial losses in the aftermath of the COVID-19 pandemic. Keyword, aftermath. But remember, folks, we're still in a pandemic. The pandemic's not over, and it doesn't stop there. Kendra Daycare makes difficult choices of cutting families due to staffing shortages. That's right, they have to cut some families. Almost everyone's had headaches of short staffing from having to come in early to stay late, but for daycare, it's affecting whether they can legally operate. So the daycare may not even be able to function because they have no staffing. How about Texas? You've all heard now that there's a winter storm going on in Texas. Well, guess what? The cleanup efforts might not be so great. City of Austin faces staffing shortage as winter storm hits. And let's continue reading more. Austin. As icy winter weather impacts central Texas, the city of Austin says it's struggling to fill staff positions in several departments. This means they're not going to be able to tackle the winter storm effectively, and essentially it's going to be icy. It's going to be a mess. This is not good. Obviously, this is what the spokesperson says. Obviously, staffing shortage in any operation causes some overtime for folks involved, said Novak. But when you do throw in an event like this, a weather event like this, additional overtime will be incurred. So this is just an absolute disaster down there. Westmoreland, this is in western Pennsylvania. Public defender staff shortage leads to canceled hearings. Hearings can't even be done on time because there's staff shortages. Big pharmacies move to reduce employee hours amid staff shortages. They're cutting hours at pharmacies. Prescriptions are going to take longer to get filled. We know the number of people getting prescriptions is way up since the start of the pandemic. My local CVS has been a zoo. I mean, sometimes I go in there, there'll be 20 people in line. It's utterly ridiculous. And now pharmacies are going to cut shortages. Prescriptions aren't going to be ready on time. The lines are going to continue to be long. Do you have a family member or loved one in a nursing home? Well, this is a scene that's playing out across most of the country. Nursing home staff shortage, a crisis in Clark County, Washington. Many hospital patients should be discharged but can't find beds at facilities. So not only is it impacting people that need to be in a nursing home from the outside, but people who are in hospitals that need to be transported to long care facilities. Can't happen, and that's clogging up the hospitals, and it's not freeing up beds. So you get the general idea here. There is a massive staffing shortage among multiple industries across the country. I could go on. I could show you police departments that are having staffing shortages. You name it, but you get the idea. The pandemic is continuing. Quite frankly, staffing shortages seem to be a pandemic of itself. And this is a major problem, and it needs to be dealt with. People need to continue to treat things like the pandemic is still going on. The health emergency that was declared for COVID-19, that needs to continue. Things are not normal. Things are nowhere near back to normal. We still have things in disarray all across the country, and it needs to be dealt with. Alrighty, thanks for watching this video, and please remember to hit the like and subscribe button down below. Stay safe, everyone. See you next time.